Hey, it's a beautiful day on this beautiful Monday, which is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And not only that, but we have a special guest, a relationship expert, a love expert that's going to be with us. And her name is Dr. Diana Kirschner. I'm going to welcome her now, and then we'll get started. I go over her bio, and we have guest expert who also will ask questions as well. Dr. Diana Kirschner, how are you doing, my friend?
I am awesome. I'm so excited to be with you guys. This just feels fantastic just to get to be with this group.
Ah, fantastic. And I want to welcome our guests as well, Sophia, Nikki, and Almond. And we have other guests coming on as well who are in the virtual studio with us. But let me go over Dr. Kirshner's background here really quick to help everyone to better understand it. She's the founder of loveinninetydays.com, Love Mentoring, best-selling author, relationship expert, as well as a psychologist. And she's a PBS Love Expert, psychologist, best-selling author. She's helped thousands of single and couples to find the relationship of their dreams with her team of expert love mentors, dating and relationship coaches. She uses a unique approach, which has helped tens of thousands of women by phone, Skype, and other virtual applications all over the world to heal from heartbreak, date successfully, and find lasting love. I tell you, she is doing some amazing things. And I'll talk more about her background as we go forward. So my question to you, Dr. Kirshner, and for the viewers who are listening on Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube is, what is the genesis for you in regards to love, relationships? Did it find you or did you find it?
Well, it's like so many other people, right? I mean, I was born into a situation that didn't have much love in it.
Okay.
So I was the fifth daughter born to a family that only wanted boys.
Oh, I see.
And so growing up, right, I felt like I didn't belong here. Of course, I felt, undeserving of love, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they did the best they could, but
Yeah.
it's like so many people, it was about figuring out, I mean, does love exist? How do you
Mhm.
get it?
Oh, yeah, we've all
I
been
mean,
there.
yeah, I mean, so it was really, that was my trial and my mission. And so I started studying everything I could. I thought it has to exist, even though I haven't really seen it.
Sure.
Um, so I started studying everything. I wound up getting a master's degree and a PhD in clinical psychology, and I studied everyone who talked about love. And the most amazing miracle was that I was able to find the road, right? And I
Okay.
was
Yeah.
able to learn how to, number one, love myself, right? Which was a
Uh-huh.
real challenge given where, how
Right.
my original parenting, how, it was
Sure.
non-existent. And so loving myself and then actually finding my soulmate. And I've been happily married to him for decades now.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
the work I do is paying it forward, honestly. Because I mean, if I could get this kind of wealth, and I do think that love is the ultimate wealth,
It is.
which you talk
Absolutely.
about, Paul, um, then anybody could do it. I mean, this is somebody who, when I was born, my father said, "Oh, a girl, I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to see her."
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
you know. So if
Understood.
I can do it, anybody can do it. That's really it, and that's been my work ever since.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you for providing your backstory. And I know that today that's one of the reasons why you're one of the most successful relationship experts in the world around the globe. So thank you for sharing this. And one of the things that I know that you do, you empower women to live their dreams in life and in love. And in today's society, which of course we're impacted by the pandemic, we know that a lot of relationships are taking place virtually.
Hmm.
Let me share how this has impacted relationships as well, because that's a lot different than the norm, what we've known in the past.
Well, there's actually a lot of good news about all that. A lot of
Okay.
good news.
Okay.
I call this the age of abundant love. I
Okay.
really, really do. Even though it can be extremely disappointing and demoralizing as you're going through when you're
Sure.
trying to date on apps and you try to date on dating sites, but it really is the age of abundant love. Now, why? Because we have this unbelievable technology. Let's start with that. That is
Okay.
incredible, right? That's
Absolutely.
incredible. We could be together right now, the five of us and however many of us there are. We could be together right this
Absolutely.
minute, right?
Mhm.
And it's incredible. It's incredible. And then we have these sites and we have these apps that have so many people looking for love. At this time, one out of every three marriages in America occurs between people who have met online. And here's
Wow.
a really interesting thing, you guys. They're happier and they last longer.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now,
Yeah.
with the pandemic, what has happened is that there's even better news because people have gone through now being isolated, lonely, miserable, scared, and they're like, "Holy crap! I want a partner, right? I need
Wow.
somebody who's in my corner, who's with me during all
Mhm.
this."
Yes.
And so Match.com did
Mhm.
a study of 5,000 singles, and what they found was that 53% of the people said that they prioritized finding lasting soulmate love much more because of the pandemic. And
Ah,
yes, they really want a real connection. They want a lasting love connection. And there's less ghosting going on.
sure.
People are being more honest with each other. So that is the super good news.
Oh, that's wonderful. I
Yes.
can remember years ago, I was kidding with my cousin who was contemplating getting married, and he was going to Match.com. And we all laughed about it because we're like, you're going to actually meet someone online. But
Hmm.
he didn't. He actually ended up marrying someone he met in college. But today, it's a real thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's a
everybody's
real
online
thing.
pretty much.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let us go to some of the virtual guests in the studio. I'll start with Sophia. And Sophia, what question do you have for Dr. Kirschner today? And thank you very much.
Of course, Dr. Diana, great points you've made so far. But my question to you is, with so many women getting into entrepreneurship and getting back into the workforce, how is this affecting marital relationships and relationship in general with other family members? How do you see this?
Yes, yes. So many women are really, it's fantastic because so many women are much more successful. They're able to live their dream, particularly African American women. African American women have just exploded in terms of their ability to be at the top, to be majorly successful. And
Uh-huh.
it just warms my heart. I have a whole chapter in my book, Love in 90 Days, on African American women. And uh, so what that does is it does two things. One, it can start a kind of anxiety, like where the woman feels like, oh, am I intimidating to men? I am intimidating, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the other thing is sometimes it's hard to find somebody on your level.
Right.
That's the honest truth. It's
Yeah.
hard to find somebody on your level, right? So what do we do about that? What we do is we spread out our search, right? So you do younger and older, right? That,
Uh-huh.
let's say your type is a certain age range. No, open it up to,
Yeah.
younger and older. Open up your distance where you say you're willing to meet someone, right? So there are more people to look at and interact with. And you got to remember that love almost always comes in a surprise package.
Yes. When you least expect it.
Yeah, it comes as a surprise package. So when you least expect it to, it's not on your time frame, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's really really important if you're a successful woman, and also, oh, I got to say this, I forgot to say this, really important. Is that men really who are developed, who are successful, do really appreciate a partner who is going to bring something to the table. Really, they
Yeah.
want a partnership in sublime. They want a partnership where they're really helping each other grow and get more successful and also more able to be intimate.
Yes.
And the law of I never can say this word right, homogamy, something like that, where it says that actually people mate. They want to be on the same socioeconomic level. So you don't have to be so concerned about being successful. You don't have to be concerned about hiding how successful you are. Although when you write your profile, I do not want that in the beginning. Right. A lot of women, like in our coaching team, our coaching project, I see a lot of profiles, dating profiles, and they'll put in there, I love my work as a lawyer. That's the first thing.
That means no time spent at all.
So it's like, it's not a job interview, right?
Yeah.
This is about being warm together and relatable and having fun. And that's what should be in the beginning of the profile. Then you can, in the second paragraph, and I also love my work as a lawyer, but it's not number one.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Great question, Sophia.
Yes.
And we'll try to get Dr. Kirschner. Thank you so much for that. Let's try now. And we want to welcome Marsha Armstrong. She's from Barbados, just waving a good day. And now I want to see if Nikki is available, if her sound. If not, you can post it in the comment section. I can repeat it for you.
Can you hear me now?
We can. Yes. Welcome.
Yay. Hello, everybody, my beautiful people. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. You have a question for Dr. Kirschner?
Yes, I do. Dr. Kirschner, with finances being listed as one of the many reasons that couples get divorced, what do you suggest that money and love conversation look like?
Well, I'll tell you. Number one is to set up a future vision of where you both would like to be together. Okay. So I would call that creating a love and money intention. What is our love and money intention? Right. And you work on it together so that you're beginning to look forward to being a unified team, creating wealth. Right. Mm-hmm. So what would that intention look like? Okay. So it'd be, we continuously deepen our love and become wealthier and wealthier over time. You like that one? I like that one. Yeah. We have a deeply fulfilling love relationship in which we can discuss money without fighting and create a beautiful life which works within our budget.
Very nice.
Right? Mm-hmm. What is it that you're trying to create? What happens is that we all wind up just being in the moment, fighting and being upset. Oh my God, right? And that is not going to really help you get out of whatever you're facing. But if you create a love and money intention, and I like the phrase in a surprising way. Like we create amazing wealth in a surprising way, right? And you help each other to become more and more successful. You become each other's secret weapon. How can we create more wealth in a surprising way? Well, Joe, I think that you have such an amazing ability with creating these websites, blah, blah, blah. I can see you creating a lot of wealth, blah, 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 blah. So you're supporting each other being the best self you can be. I call that your diamond selves.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Great question. Mm-hmm. Great question. Mm-hmm. Okay, and thank you for that. I wanted to move on to Almond. Almond, you have a question for Dr. Kirschner, please?
Yes, I do. Hey, Doc, thank you. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. My question is this, in relationships, you have one person who's really into health and wellness, who likes to work out. Maybe the other person isn't so much into it. That can cause a lot of friction. So how do you manage that? How do you deal with that, within a relationship?
Well, that is a very tricky thing.
No doubt.
You ask the hard questions, right? That is a you once again get more bees with honey. My mother used to say you get more bees with honey than you do with
No
vinegar.
doubt. Yeah.
So the thing is, if you can switch over to actually seeing your partner's diamond self as the best self identity,
Right.
and you start talking about what they're doing positively and enjoying it and embracing it and applauding it. Oh my God. Wow, you did. Wow, that was fantastic. You ate such a fantastic breakfast, and we went for that long walk, honey. Oh my God, you're getting so beautiful. You're getting more and more beautiful. Oh, I see that. I see the muscles. I
Right.
see the muscles. Now, out of roll, you're going to pick out any little positive and focus on it. It can be the tiniest thing. In this situation, the person went for a walk, maybe for 5 minutes.
Right.
So you're rewarding them instead of being negative and then getting into the power struggle. Like, oh, screw you, I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat. I don't want it. Right.
Exactly.
You want to turn it around. Right. Now, I will say this. Sometimes you have to bring out the big guns. You do. Because if your partner is killing themselves, right? If your partner is morbidly obese, let's say, if your partner is using drugs, excess drugs or alcohol, right? And smoking and whatever else it is, you sometimes have to bring out the big guns. What are the big guns? Sweetheart, you are the love of my life. You're incredible. You could do anything. I know you could, but you're killing yourself and I will not tolerate it.
Right.
And if you continue killing yourself, I will leave you.
Right.
Okay.
The goal is
right there.
You want as many years as you can get together. That's the goal.
Yeah. Now, sometimes when you bring out the big guns and you mean it, what happens?
Chaos.
First chaos, then what happens?
But a decision's made.
Exactly.
I think then there's a decision made, and you get real commitment.
Exactly. So you're giving the person the opportunity to rise to the occasion and say, look, I'm not going to let our family life go. I'm not going to let our marriage go. I will go, to the weight loss doctor. I will go into rehab.
Nutritionist.
And to a nutritionist, right?
Yeah.
So, those are the big guns that sometimes are needed when you say, I'm not putting up with this.
Yes. Great question.
I appreciate that. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, Almond. Dr. Kirschner, another great response there. I want to go to Marsha Armstrong, our studio guest from Barbados. She's living with that beautiful weather down there. I'd like to get a question from her now.
Hello, good afternoon. My question is along the lines of, in relationships, all of us come in with a different money script, right? We all have each a money story entering into a relationship. At which point in time do you actually have that discussion before, let's say, for those who want to get married? At which point before then do we have that discussion to kind of break down and be vulnerable enough to share what our money stories are, so that it limits the number of arguments that can happen in the long run, and that we actually understand each other, so that when we come together, we realize that we are operating as one and not two separate persons.
Well, once you become exclusive, okay, let's say you're dating casually and you're dating several people, and then all of a sudden you become exclusive, right? And there's talk of a future, there's talk of love, right? At that time, that's when you begin to talk about what is the future that you want to create together. And that includes money. How do you think money is best handled? Are you a saver? Do you like to spread it around? How do you handle money? And that's part of that discussion as you're falling in love. When you're putting your best foot forward, at least you're not going to get into the battle yet. So you want to begin that as soon as you become exclusive. What is the future that you want to build? tell me what, if you could have anything in 5 years, what it would look like. So you're talking to this potential mate, right? So Joe, what would it look like in 5 years if you could have anything you wanted? Oh, so he says, I want a house near the beach in Barbados, and I want my own business, and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, and how do you think the money should be handled in terms of creating that dream? You know, once again, we're looking to what we want to create together. You can't get, well, you can get ahead without being very focused on a vision, but to be focused on a vision means you go much faster, and it's much easier with less obstacles. Now, people think of that in terms of work. They're like, oh, I want to be a doctor, want to be a vice president of blah, 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 but they don't think of it about love. It's the same as love. You want to envision, what do you want to be together? Now, if you're single, you want to envision, what is the life you're creating for yourself, right? So I meet and marry the most extraordinary man. And by the way, you can have a wealthy man. It's fine. No problem. There's one woman in our coaching, in coaching right now with us. And she came in, and she was in her 50s, and she had a lot of relationships with guys who were going nowhere. And she did her own love intention. And she said, I meet and marry an
we'll get
wealthy man who's fulfilling all my dreams, right? Don't you know that she is now engaged, and she wants me to personally come to her wedding? She met this guy who is so wealthy. It's like crazy, but he's also crazy about her and doting on her and thinks she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, he's building her dream house, right? And they're going to have a wedding that is going to be an event. It's going to be a big event in New York City. Now, she's coming in with relatively almost no money, right? But she was very clear on what she wanted. It doesn't mean that she's shallow. It's just that that's what she wanted to create. She wanted to have on her, and that was the opposite of the way she was raised. The opposite, because a lot of what goes on in love is you're healing childhood wounds, right? So if you had a father who wasn't giving to you, who wasn't giving you attention, wasn't giving you gifts, wasn't taking you to get ice cream, right? You want to get someone who can heal those wounds. And it's the funniest thing was that she sent me some pictures, the engagement pictures, and she said, I've never seen my face look so healthy and happy. I've never seen my face. I almost don't recognize myself. I look so happy.
Oh, very nice.
That's exact words. And that tells you everything, because when you get someone who can be there for you and love you in the way that heals those wounds, there's nothing like that happiness. And guess what? You also get to be more successful, because you don't need anything from anybody else. You're loved. You know you're loved, right? So you don't have to get approval from anybody else. You just can do your thing.
Very nice. Great question. Great response. We're learning so much here. Yes.
I have a follow-up, a very quick one. Sorry to take the time, but this just, this came to me. As it relates to, and thank you for answering my first question. I really enjoyed your response. As it relates to persons that, you would have grown up with this mindset that you have to perform and to work so hard for what you have. And then you encounter a person who loves you for you. How can we get to a place where we fully learn how to receive? Yeah, because that's a block. That's a lot of us have an issue.
That is hard. That is hard. You have to force yourself to take it. Take it like a woman. You have to force yourself to take it. You really do. I mean, I tell you that. I mean, I had to force myself, because I was not given really, literally anything by my father. Didn't mean anything to me, right? So with my husband Sam, I had to force myself to take these things. And I'm not joking. I had to force myself. And it would make me anxious. Like, no, you want to get me that diamond bracelet? No. No.
Yes.
And then just forcing myself to you have to learn how to do this, even though it's scary and uncomfortable and it feels horrible and you want to run away.
Uh-huh. Very nice. Great question. Great answer too. Very great. Thank you, Marcia. One of the things I want to just discuss right now is there's this individual who has a book. His name is John Gray. He's an international best-selling author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Now, he makes this quote here for Dr. Kirschner, and it states, Dr. Diana understands the mysteries of committed, passionate love. Could you share maybe just a little bit about that committed, passionate love that keeps relationships going strong, sustaining, and maintaining?
Well, committed, passionate love, first of all, you can pick the right person to begin with to have committed, passionate love. And you've got to ask yourself 3 questions when you're dating. There are 3 important questions. 1, is this person crazy about me? You want someone who knows how amazing you are, period. You really do. Number 2, are they willing to grow? That is, have they been in therapy? Do they get coaching? Do they listen to Paul? Are they willing to grow? Right. And which means that even if the person isn't perfect, they could grow into an amazing match for you. And number 3, are they meeting the soulmate basics? The soulmate basics have to do with values, goals. They want children, you want children, et cetera, and there's some chemistry. So you want to start with 3 questions. So you're lining yourself up for lasting, committed love. Because this person is crazy about you, they don't want to lose you, right? They're willing to grow. So when things get hard in the marriage, they're willing to grow and work on it, right? So they're not going to walk away. And number 3, you have that chemistry, not insane chemistry, but there's some chemistry, and you have this value and goal, the shared family dream, or whatever it is. And so you've got a lasting situation. When somebody's willing to grow, they change all the time. Like my husband is different than he's ever been. In fact, he gave me yellow roses for Valentine's Day, and he said, it'll match your dining room better. Which it never in all this time has he ever paid attention to decorating. Like, he's brought me flowers before, and he's like, even better. So it tickled me so much. It just tickled me, right? That is the willing to grow part, and that makes it fun and interesting and passionate. Because if you're the same for 20 years, it's boring.
That's very true.
But if you're both growing, then it's like you're in a different relationship all the time, and it's great, and it gets better. The other weird thing is that it actually gets better.
Yes. What I find interesting is that the longer 2 people are together, they start looking alike.
Yes, and even their daughter looks like them too.
I hope it's not just me, but it seems that way. Hey, you look like me. Hey, what's going on here? Thank you so much. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your books. You are the author of several books, including Love in 90 Days, Find Your Soulmate Online, The Diamond Self-Secret, Sealing the Deal is when I interviewed you on the radio show, and then 30 Days to Love. So many, many books that are out there that are helping make a difference with people. And I know that you work with people all over the world as well. Yes. So I want to also talk about asking the guests here in the studio if they have another question. If Sophia, if you have another question for Dr. Kirschner. Yeah, get your sound.
Yeah. So just another quick question, Dr. Diana. For those persons who are beyond the dating stage, they're serious, and even they probably are married, but one party probably is in entrepreneurship. How do you strike that balance so you will not jeopardize your relationship, yet you're there building your business and that is not jeopardized either? how do you strike that balance? What advice you have for people like those?
Okay, there's a very, very powerful, simple exercise that I love. I use it all the time with my husband, and it keeps us on the same page. And it's called the 10-minute listening session, 10-minute listening.
Right.
And so what we do is that one person listens as if they're like a quiet, reflective therapist for 10 minutes. And then you role reverse. So then that person talks about whatever's coming up, and the other one listens without any comment, right? Now, what that does is it keeps you being close friends. Because these days, everybody's multitasking. Nobody's listening to anybody. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, doing my business or whatever. You're looking, he's looking, they're multitasking like crazy. This gives you real connection to whatever's on your partner's mind, and you can share whatever's on your mind. So at that point, what you'll find is what needs to be done, if anything, in your intimacy, if your partner is feeling lonely or alone, right? You're going to work on it, right? So that keeps you connected. Now, we used to do this, me and my husband, every day for a while. And it went to every other day. And now it's like, I'd like a 10-minute listening session. If one of us feels like we're drifting apart and we're overworking, and he has several jobs also. My husband's a lot of jobs because we've done a lot of growth building. So I've helped him with his dreams. He's helped me with this, which is my dream. Anyway, but at any point we can look at each other and say, I need a listening session. And that takes priority. It takes priority, right? So you get together. Now, when people look at divorce, they think that it's always an affair that causes a divorce. But when you interview people who are divorced, they say they lost their friendship.
Wow.
They lost the friendship.
That they grew apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah. I think personally, I'm going to try that with my husband because that seemed like an awesome activity. I've never done that one. So thank you for that one.
Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful. But remember the rule. You can't say anything if you're the listener, right?
That's a
and nothing that's brought up in the 10-minute session can be used in a fight. That's the other thing. Nothing.
I like that.
Yeah.
And if nothing's coming to mind during your 10-minute time when you're supposed to be talking, you just say nothing's coming to mind. Nothing's coming, and the person just sits there. It's like a therapy session, right? If you went to a therapist and you say, "Oh, well, nothing's coming to mind," the therapist would say, and then suddenly something comes to mind, and then you're in the other person's head. You really want to be in the other person's head and understand him or her.
Very good. It's like a coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, the coach doesn't provide the answers; they get it out of the person.
Right.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely.
They're present with this active listening, which is so rare and such a gift.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Nikki, do you have another question?
Oh, we could be here all day.
Here we go.
Dr. Kirschner, I have a question for you. When people are getting out of unhealthy relationships or divorce, I know you mentioned self-love. What does that look like? Because for me, you can't love someone if you don't love yourself first.
Exactly. Well, we have something that we call the Diamond Self work. In fact, it's our most popular work in all our whole coaching team. We coach people all over the world, China, Africa, everywhere. And the Diamond Self work is very important when you're coming out of divorce or you're in heartbreak. It's very, very important because, of course, we start ragging on ourselves, well, you're too old, you're too fat, you screwed that up, you're unlovable. We all do that. We all have this negative self-talk. And it's very, very important to build a loving, self-loving identity and self-empowering and self-deserving identity. And so what we do in our work is you actually get to give yourself a new name, right? It's not just celebrities who get to name themselves. You get to name yourself. And if you're coming out of a situation like that, often what the people will choose is something like courageous, resilient phoenix of the light, right? Triumphant one who understands love, who deserves love and wealth and all things good. I mean, that's a great name, actually. I like that one. Beloved, mighty Isis, right? Goddess of love and light. Or soaring eagle. You're a man, soaring eagle, resilient soaring eagle, right? Captain Paul.
Yes.
Captain Paul of wisdom and deservedness. So you get to actually name yourself, which is fun, and you can fool around with that. And the sky's the limit with that. You just play with it in a playful way. Then there are exercises we have that help you get rid of all your negative commentary, like, oh, what are you talking about, beloved mighty Isis? That's ridiculous.
Negative self-talk.
Yeah, the negative, like, oh, come on. I know when I did my diamond self name, I was like, that's too good and grand for you, right? But sometimes you'll hit a diamond self name that actually just makes you laugh out loud because it's so cool. It's like, oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And then you actually get to go shopping. And you buy yourself clothes that goes along with your new identity. It doesn't have to be expensive. Costume jewelry is fine. If you're soaring eagle, you get a little eagle ring. Whatever it is that is a symbol of who you want to be. You see, here's the thing. You can create whoever you want to be. Now, I'm not exaggerating, and I know that sounds crazy. But you can, by envisioning, like people will envision a work situation and a job, blah, blah, business. They can do it. You can actually rewire your brain. The brain is not statically wired for identity. There's no static wiring that says this is Paul. No. If you looked at the wiring around I, me, mine in the brain, it's like a continuous light show. It keeps changing.
Yes.
So you can rewire it to soaring eagle Paul. You can rewire it, right? And so you dress that part, especially if let's say you're going to do something hard, you have a hard presentation or something, you could make sure you have your things that remind you of your diamond self. And once again, coming out of a situation that hurts you, the resilient one, the courageous one, the tough one, the unbreakable one, right? It's like whatever you are called to help heal yourself, you can put in there.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
That was powerful. Thank you.
Yes. Great question. Great response. Alma, another question, if you will.
I don't really have a question because I'm loving all of this.
Me too.
I was just very fortunate to have like grandparents and who just all this stuff she said. I'm like, okay, that's why my papa said that. But we actually created something that was called Operation Love Letter, and I grew up with a parent who said, "Look, you need to write yourself love letters because, of course, you can't give what you don't have."
Exactly.
And until your cup runneth over, you'll hold it to yourself. And I remember the one as I'm listening to her, I'm smiling, thinking about my grandfather. My grandparents were married for 61 years.
Okay.
And I remember asking my grandfather, "How do you stay married to someone for 61 years?" I mean, it's just fun, right? And he said, "I really like your grandmother." He's like, "It's easy to love people, but when you get upset, you start thinking about all the things you don't like about them." And he goes, "I like everything." And that really so as I'm listening, to Doctor, I'm like, oh man, I feel I'm getting goosebumps because I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. So
that's so awesome. That is so
on the right track. And my birthday's tomorrow, so I always say that all of this
Happy
love.
birthday, Alma.
There's no
Happy
way you can hold all this
birthday,
love for
Armand.
24 hours. It has to spill into the 15th. So this is my moment. So I'm so glad that Paul, you reached out and had me on this, because I feel like, oh yeah, this is it.
Confirmation.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
love letter to yourself is a fabulous thing to
Yes.
do. You
Yes.
can also write a letter from a perfectly loving partner, which is one of the
Yes.
exercises in Love in 90 Days. A perfectly loving partner. What would that look like?
Yes.
So, my darling Sophia, I've just never seen anyone as amazing or beautiful in heart and soul as you, my love.
Uh-huh.
That letter from a perfectly loving partner is very powerful. We have the women in coaching do that. They will write the letter, and then they find the person who almost matches it.
Right.
Wow.
Well, I love that, because my anniversary is the 13th, and then you have Valentine's Day and my birthday. So I feel like for 72 hours, I'm just all in, Doc.
You're the man.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And happy birthday, Armand.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay, great. And we want to go to Marcia and see if she has another question. She has Dr. Kirschner.
Sorry. Hi, Paul. Not at this time. I don't have any questions
Okay.
right now. I'm just enjoying the conversation.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Now, what I want to do at this time is just kind of share a little bit more background of Dr. Kirschner. She's done some tremendous things. For example, she was ran the 90-day Love Challenge on Fox Morning Show, and it was the highest rated. And she frequently appeared on the Today Show and Oprah, Good Morning America, Nightline, and Access Hollywood. So she has really had some really great exposure there with her programs, which is continuing to make a tremendous difference in the lives of other people on the relationship side of things. And so I wanted to share that with people who will listen on the archive as well. And I think at this time, we're going to wrap it up. So I want to ask Dr. Kirschner, we're coming to a close, if you'd like to provide any additional information at this time for our virtual guests here in the studio, and for those who will listen on the archive a little bit later.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to add, I myself was a mute, socially phobic child. So it's to be on all those shows that actually has to do with me doing a lot of diamond self work, a lot of diamond self work. And what I'm thrilled about is I have an amazing gift for you guys, which is a free session with one of my dating coaches who are unbelievable. I mean, they're handpicked and trained by me and actually supervised by me. And so you guys can have a free 40-minute one-on-one session. You can figure out a diamond self name. You can ask about anything. You can talk about anything. These are people, I mean, they're so amazing. They're just so amazing. They're incredible. And all you need to do is go to lovein90days.com. That's lovein90days.com. Click on the coaching tab. Now, here's the important part. Say, Paul sent me. You have to say, Paul sent me, to make sure you get your session. Because sometimes we ask, we have too many people asking for sessions and we have to turn them away. But if you say, Paul sent me at lovein90days.com, you will get your session. And I know you'll be thrilled.
Yes. Just new insight.
Yes. And direction sometimes.
Yes.
Suddenly, we had a woman who was trying to help her boyfriend step up and make a commitment. He was a commitment phobe. And after her session, she understood how to talk to him. He stepped up, they got engaged, they're happily married. And that was just the one session. So yeah, you can really make use of this. This is really powerful. And today is Valentine's Day. So it's a good day to make use of this.
That's right. So they can do that at lovein90days.com/dating.coaching.
And there's a coaching tab at the top at lovein90days.com. Just click on there and say, Paul sent me.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kirschner. I want to say to everyone that I interviewed Dr. Kirschner years ago on my radio show, and we had a lot of fun. And we had a lot of fun today, too.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate you sharing your expertise with us all. And it's really been so much fun. And we'd like to bring you back sometimes in the future.
Oh, I'd love to, Paul. And you're great. That's why it's so much fun. You're great.
All right. Okay, and I want to thank all of the virtual guests, studio guests as well. Sophia, Nikki, Marcia, Almond. Thank you all so much. Happy birthday, Almond. And
Thank you.
happy birthday to you. And I want to say to all the people who are listening live and those who are listening on the archive to have your family, friends, and your colleagues come back and listen to this episode. It'll be episode 190 on Apple Podcasts. You'll be able to get it there. You'll also be able to get it on YouTube. And we're also broadcasting live now on LinkedIn as well. So thank you all and have a wonderful day. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And God bless us all. And may agape love impact all of our lives. And agape love is to love people because it's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
So thank you all again. Again, my name is Paul Lawrence Venn. I host Wealth Academy podcast, and I'll see you on the very next episode. Thank you so much, Dr. Kirschner. You are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Have a great day, everyone.
You
and I'll
too.
see you on the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.